Well, most agricultural scientists and economists know that the United States is also facing a tremendous plague of famine. Clearly, the severe weather that has struck the agricultural areas in this nation over the years have been duly noted. This has been going on again for many years. However, let us consider this from an article about the unusual behavior of the sun and its effect on the agricultural industry. It states, at a time when the world is already being hit with major crisis after major crisis, our sun is behaving in ways that we have never seen before. For as long as records have been kept, the sun has never been quieter than it has been in 2019 and 2020. And as you will see, we are being warned that we have now entered a very deep solar minimum, in quotes. Unfortunately, other very deep solar minimums throughout history have corresponded with brutally cold temperatures and horrific global famines. And of course, this new solar minimum comes at a time when the United Nations is already warning that we are on the verge of biblical famines around the world. So why is this such a big deal? Well, every once in a while, a very deep solar minimum that lasts for several decades comes along. And when our planet has experienced such periods in the past, the consequences have been quite dramatic. For example, the New York Post is claiming that NASA scientists fear that we could potentially be facing a repeat of the Dalton minimum. NASA scientists fear it could be a repeat of the Dalton minimum, which happened between 1790 and 1830, leading to periods of brutal cold, crop loss, famine, and powerful volcanic eruptions. Temperatures plummeted by up to 2 degrees Celsius, which is 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit, over 20 years, devastating the world's food production. Even worse would be a great repeat of the modern minimum, which stretched from 1645 to 1715. It came as the globe was already in the midst of a little ice age, and it caused harvest failures and famines all over the globe. Even if the sun suddenly started acting perfectly normal once again, we would still be facing what the UN is calling the worst humanitarian crisis since World War II. Now, that's something to think about. During a solar minimum, sunspots and solar flares, the activity of each of these diminishes, so the earth does not receive the energy from the rays of the sun that is necessary to enrich the soil and that is necessary to germinate the crop seeds to produce food. Now, according to the Gospels, Jesus prophesied of the wrath of the Son of Man, in that the sun would be acting unusual. It would be, in other words, a shelter in place, the sun. So Jesus stated, immediately after the tribulation of those days, which the last days he's referring to, shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Now, by the powers of the heaven here doesn't mean the power of God's throne. It means the power of this world, the leadership, the synagogue of Satan, the throne of iniquity. Now, did Jesus believe that Mother Nature would bring these conditions to bear? Well, according to the book of Revelation, Mother Nature does not control the sun, but an angel of God, a man who works for the Christ, also has control over the sun. It states, and the fourth angel poured out his bowl on the sun, and the sun was allowed to scorch people with fire. So today, everyone is coming face to face with what you believe, what you really believe. So if you treat your church service as idle sport, where you can just sing a hymn, give charity, and act like you're righteous, then you're going to be called to the carpet as to whether or not you believe in the very Bible that you claim to believe in. If that's the case, then you wouldn't think the weather patterns were just haphazard. Well, this fourth angel is one of 7 angels that join with the Lamb of God in executing the judgment of this world. Now, the Holy Quran verifies this as well. It states, "So when the trumpet is blown with a single blast, and the earth and the mountains are borne away and crushed with one crash, on that day will the event come to pass, and the heaven will be cleft asunder, so that day it will be frail." Again, referring to the governments of this world. "And the angels will be on its sides, and above them 8 will bear that day thy Lord's throne of power," which means the Lamb of God and the 7 angels who are with him, according to the book of Revelation, in the judgment of this world.